Probably the best or close to the best that those two have ever played. Absolutely immaculate stuff from them.
They also had a great sort of matchup with the 2v2, being up against something immobile like the Syndra. Like Betty has pointed out in the previous Champions Select, once the flash is down, Syndra is just naturally at this disadvantage against champions like Vi and Nico. But it will be Senna, Maokai, Orianna banned out by G2,
Ooh.
as Draven, Kalista, and Viego are banned out from NRG.
Zaya's up. The NRG is saying, ooh, you weren't expecting our Senna? Sure, you can have Xayah, but we might have something else cooked up, and I'm curious as to what that could be. Xayah, as you can see the stat on the screen, 97% presence throughout this tournament, is considered the strongest AD carry, and you just handed it over to Hansa.
And not even just looking at its absolute power, but Xayah is a counter-engage AD carry. One of the few in the game, and that's exactly what NRG want to play, is hard engage. So not only are you giving over a power pick, but it is a power pick that is exceptional at countering exactly what has been our primary goal here, and what our primary goal for NRG is showing here in 1-2 as well. With the Jarvan, with the Rakan, that guaranteed pickup. I will say Rumble is also up, so Rumble priority would go really nicely with the Rakan and Jarvan engage options for the side of NRG.
I love this Poppy answer from G2. I looked at this NRG side and I was thinking, nice, Jarvan has been very prevalent, really good early game engage jungler in the current meta, and Ignar's not. I mean, I was casting Ignar's not back in 2017. Like, I know how proficient he is on the champion. He's a fantastic playmaker, but it seems that G2 are really simplifying the draft. They're just getting themselves onto champions that they know can have impact. Great scaling and range for Azir, great disengage from the Poppy, and you already talked about how Xayah is one of the best disengage support AD carries. You look at this tool, this comp rather, coming out from G2.
Yeah, they drafted 3 champions with counter-engage options in the Poppy following it, as well as Azir. But that Rumble I was talking about, the insta-lock here, no-brainer. Again, you know, Dokla notoriously hadn't played it during the regular split, and then put in a lot of work to have it ready for LCS Finals. So we'll see how well they can execute, if NRG can still force this one through, because G2 now know exactly what is coming at them.
Yeah, and hey, at least it's nice with the Rumble. You've already seen Poppy locked in against 2 champions that she can really shut down with steadfast presence. Rumble can't dash anywhere. Poppy doesn't have the same denial power against the Rumble. So cutting off at least a little bit of that, as the Cassante is banned out from NRG. Remember that it was Dokla piloting this in the previous game against the Jax of Broken Blade. Now that he knows he's on the Rumble, he doesn't want to deal with that Cassante matchup. Nico being banned out. I respect this respect ban from G2, saying that really caught us off guard lots of times. The pop blossoms over and over, catching multiple players on G2, setting up these huge engages for NRG. They don't want to face it again.
So the things to think about now, if you're NRG, is this Lissandra pick from Mickey, whether or not it's something that they actually want to go for, because during the regular season it was their answer to Rakan, alongside things like the Alistar, and also Broken Blade has played some crazy stuff top. He's played Swain in the regular season, he's played Kled. Usually those are things to answer into the Renekton, but I wonder if he's been cooking anything into the Rumble matchup specifically, or whether they're looking for something more generic like an Ornn. Maybe they just want a few more team fighting tools.
This is G2. I don't pay to see G2 play and want generic.
I want to doesn't stand for generic.
I want to see some real spicy stuff here. I mean, there are picks that haven't really been played into Rumble, like Jace. You know, you can play Assassins, Akali. I mean, Broken Blade even played a little bit of Yone, but those require more offensive plays and it requires some jungle attention, so maybe not either of those. Meanwhile, on the side of NRG, Palbox going to bring out the Taliyah again. I am.
Why are you skeptical?
Taliyah is 3 and what was that? 14?
3 and 14, man. That is a really bad number.
And a couple of those wins were jungles, so I'm getting a little nervous, Sibelius. But it is another champion that pairs really well with the. If you can get guaranteed engage with Jarvan and Rakan, you know, I always want a Taliyah seismic shove to be played off of something else. The rock field will be quite nice for them as well, but man, when you're playing that into Poppy and Xayah, it does seem a bit difficult.
So one thing that I'm also noticing here, a lot of terrain creation for NRG. The Talia wall plus the Jarvan Cataclysm, if you aim all of these right, you can really create corridors where there
Or Poppy to knock us into.
No,
Great.
we're trying to ignore. We're going to make a nice spicy Rumble hot pot.
Okay.
That's the play. But it will be the Ornn. We were talking about, is it going to be a spicy counter pick to Rumble, or is it a scaling team fight Ornn? And that's the pick for Broken Blade.
Flowers. They've got 2 champions that charge into terrain now.
One of them even breaks it.
They can break it. They can smash us, stun us into it. Well, hopefully we don't self-counter here, Venius.
Ooh, the Sivir, the final pick of the draft here for FBI.
Okay.
So, when I look at G2's comp, they've simplified the draft,
yeah.
right? That's what they've
Back
done.
to basics.
They've sat there and said, you know what, Xayah really strong on the meta, Poppy really good into J4 Rakan, all that mobility. We love Azir just as a mid laner, great scaling, great range. That as a core is very solid. And then what do? They panned it out with a little bit more frontline and a little bit more CC. This is very much about team fighting. This isn't about doing anything too crazy in the early game. They still have an ability to play to the bot side of the map. NRG, they have a very similarly strong team fighting composition with a few more early game options, an incredibly strong top side. You look at Talia, gets the push, uses ults to roam up towards top. They threaten to dive onto the Ornn. A very easy access point to look for early roams. The question is, can NRG find those early game leads once again? Can they bully out Caps on this Azir and find ways to unlock Palafox on the map once again?
Yeah, and honestly, how are they going to navigate such an incredible front line that G2 are fielding in this game? That is going to be the big thing they have to get over, the big hurdle here, because so much guaranteed setup for them. And the carries this time around of Azir and Xayah are incredibly safe carries.
The other concern I have is that Civ is relatively short range. Of course, if she can get that ricochet off, it can hit into multiple people. But just if she wants to auto someone, she has to get relatively close.
Yeah.
Azir and Xayah can be very difficult champions to actually get close to. So these team fights are going to be exciting. NRG had a fantastic early game 1. Let's see if they can do it again in game 2.
All right, everybody, here we go. Game number 2 in this best-of-3 series between G2 and NRG. If NRG win this one, they're going on to the quarterfinals. If G2 win it, we're going on to one final match to decide who's going to get straight into the quarters and who's going to have to play again tomorrow. A reminder, tomorrow is the last day of the Swiss stage. We are starting earlier, 5 a.m. CET, 9 p.m. PST. Make sure you show up for that, but we still got this and then T1 versus BLG after here today.
Yeah, tell your friends, the games are starting early. We got 3 best-of-3s, the final day of Swiss. People will be going home. People will be qualifying to the quarterfinals. It's going to be a hype day. And one of these 2 teams will be in that day.
Yeah.
They will have to play another best-of-3 tomorrow.
You don't want to be in that day.
You do not. You want to qualify for the quarterfinals, and NRG are in a great position to do that right now. So early game, nothing too chaotic, nothing too crazy. G2 just setting up a defensive line of scrimmage to prevent NRG getting off any early invades.
I want to see what NRG can do with the top side of the map. They got Dokla the Rumble. He's into the Ornn here. Should have priority. Contracts is on Jarvan, such a good early game ganking jungler. Actually one of the champions that he played last time he was at Worlds, those 6 years ago with Cloud9 as well, to some unfortunate endings.
Well, the early jungle pathing is already starting off better for Contracts in this game than it did in the previous one. We talked about how Yike was able to get a nice lead early with that Velvet and the power that she has to farm so effectively, as Broken Blade is just pushing Dokla away from the wave here early on, making the Rumble step back a little bit.
Forge Master versus the Forge here at level 1.
Rumble is the Forge.
Who would have thought? He's got the Flame Spitter constantly on. Should be heading towards bottom there for Contracts though, so I wonder what kind of an effect Yike will be able to have early on.
Ooh, nice knock up there from Broken Blade. Dokla getting caught at the very back end of the slight level advantage there, level 2 versus level 1, as Mickey's going to move into the enemy jungle. Just check there, looking for that blue buff. You can see a couple of pings coming out from the enemy jungle now as Hans is still just shoving the way forward here in bottom lane.
Information gained. They saw with the blue buff alive that Jarvan hasn't gone there yet, which means that he's likely pathing towards bot side. This means that G2 in an ideal would want to get this minion wave underneath the tower. He will lose a cannon minion there, Hans. We all saw that. The -1s are in the chat right now.
But he got the blade collar.
Yeah.
but they need to be careful. Oh, another one! Wow, the LCK Observer is really highlighting when you miss those cannons.
Yeah.
Calling G2 out right now. The fans, the NA fans, I hear them, and G2's mental is broken. They can't even last their cannons.
No cannons.
All the chatters.
Look at Yike, though. Hasn't quite ticked over to level 4. He sees the Dokla's at about 50% HP, and he sees a play.
Yep, Dokla keeping the wave away from the turret right now. Should just be able to farm that up. Yike is not really going to find an opportunity for a whole lot just yet, but Dokla is stepping up now. Dokla needs to be really respectful of what could happen here. Yike biding his time, happy to stay in the fog.
Oh man, this wave pushing out for Dokla is so scary. Oh, so
He's
scary.
suspicious. He feels something is off.
Yeah, there's the ward. That's going to see the Poppy. So at least he knows now Yike is going to leave. Hansama going to get jumped on there as Ignar tries to lead the charge, but now he's got to be careful. Battle Dance back to his own AD carry.
Yeah, and they know that Jarvan is bottom side, so they're definitely not going to get baited into anything longer there. No longer extended trades. You can see everybody being cautious about it. And contracts will come over for the Raptors.
Again, just credit to Dokla there. Just really good awareness and good communication from the team. Yike trying to get back to his Raptors as quickly as possible, but he's too late. Nice steal there from Contracts, getting a bit of revenge for the first game. And you can see he's 2 camps up now from his jungle counterparts. NRG getting a couple nice trades onto Hans in the bot lane. Of course, the sustain from Ignar helping a little bit in the 2v2 trades. And wards already being littered around the bot side of the map. So the one lane that G2 would look to play for in the early game don't have a lot of options right now.
And I like the fact that you mentioned that little bit of sustain from Ignar, because it's not nearly as severe as the sustain from the Senna in the previous game that G2 had to deal with. Meanwhile, on the top side, Dokla hitting the overheat, 200 HP left, knocked up into the air. Broken Blade takes him low, but he won't quite take him down.
Yeah, no ignites in the top lane, so no kills just yet. Contracts came over just to recall by their bottom lane to ensure that FBI and Ignar could get that wave in as well. Looks like they can even stay one more. And they do cancel it for a little bit of extra money, one more wave's worth.
Mid laners closing in on that level 6 point. You can see not quite there just yet, but Caps' EXP bar nearly entirely filled. Palafox about halfway there. Dokla continuing to try to get this wave to crash. He hits level 6, he has the equalizer. That should be enough to dissuade Yike and Broken Blade from trying to do a whole lot here, I think.
Is really trying to force something topside. He's trying to catch Dokla out, but he's just showing the utmost level of respect right now. Even though he knows Contracts is in the area and could potentially come for a counter gank, he's saying, nope, not worth it. Just going to take my time. He has a healthy CS amount right now. Things looking good for NRG.
You know, when we originally coined the term big dokes, is actually for his big brain, not for his big muscles.
I see.
Those are
Brain
also
is the strongest muscle.
Now he's all encapsulated.
Rob lied to me.
Well, Palafox, level 6 now, Caps the same. Palafox with that Weaver's Wall. We know this is all about roaming. It's all about assisting the other lanes. We'll see if he can get to those lanes and try to help him out a little bit. Bottom side, you can see the purchase is done. Big difference here. Berserker's Greaves Rush from Hansama, so he's got the extra movement speed, whereas FBI just going straight for the Noon Quiver instead.
Here's what I'll tell you now, though, gentlemen. If you're an EU fan watching this game, 0-0, 6.5 minutes in, they're happy.
Okay.
They see when G2 is in a neutral state, they have confidence in their ability to play the mid-game macro. And when we look at NRG, they look good when they get a lead, right? So the fact that they haven't been able to find that lead is definitely a comforting sign when contrast to the first game.
And now that you can see we're watching down here as these bottom laners are ready to leave and start fighting over the Drake. This is your featured matchup presented by Mercedes-Benz with Hans and Ignar, the former teammates, now standing opposed. But we've got Dokla ready to TP in. They want to force G2 off of this. The Weaver's Wall comes in. They're going to find Mickey as the isolated target, but he still has the flash to get away over the wall. Broken Blade using the Ornhorn to try to get the wave shoved up, recognizing that his opponent has left. First Drake of the game, 7 minutes in, goes to NRG.
Yeah, I want to point out that Broken Blade had just used his teleport back to top side, so there was no world where G2 could fight that even numbers. That's why as soon as they see the teleport from Rumble coming down, they back off the Dragon. NRG do get the flash out of Mickey there, but honestly, that is one of the lowest value flashes because it's, of course, a Hex Flash Nautilus, and NRG unable to trap any kills down here in addition to the Dragon, and they did give up a turret plate to Broken Blade.
I mean, still, I think that NRG played that very well. Just good awareness as you
I always want more, Venius.
You always want more.
Cody's just never had
strict.
That is disappointed, NRG, but don't worry. I like what you did. I think that being able to secure that early Dragon also just when I think about what NRG's comp does really well, it's a very difficult comp to walk into, you know? Things like Talia, Rakan, Jarvan. These champs, you ideally want them to walk into you because a lot of their tools are kind of like picks, easy ways to catch you off guard, and they want to try and force champions like Azir to come within closer range of them. So the fact that they are able to quite calmly and easily force G2 off that dragon that they were comfortably on with a great use of the TP, I think is a good sign for NRG moving forward.
Yeah, especially since G2's comp, as we see a little bit of a visit.
Okay, nice knock up there from Ignar, but there's nobody close enough to do meaningful damage to Caps, so it's not like he's pressured any further than that. NRG are on the Rift Herald. They already secured the Drake for themselves. They want to use the knockback. Nicely done from Yike. He gets rid of the enemy jungler. The smite steal is so easy. TY for Leash. G2 picking up their first neutral objective of the game. Broken Blade's going to grab a plate here almost at the same time. Do the minions get it? Do the minions get it? I hate Poppy! The minions barely get it. The plate goes over to Broken Blade.
Man, that is actually a huge swing. A lot of gold into the pockets of G2. That was a really, really good play from Yike. They had vision the entire time. You saw Dokla flash the white flag there afterwards too, because he came down, so they give another couple turret plates. They give the Rift Herald. That is so much money back into G2, which you were just pointing out, Vedius. Is a very, very sturdy scaling comp
I thought
here.
that was going to be a really scary team fight because I looked at both supports. They both ticked over to level 6 in the mid lane, and I thought we're going to get a bit of a skirmish. And then Poppy said, "No, I'm good."
I honestly, I love doing those plays, but it's definitely frustrating to watch. Really nice accuracy there. Yike able to hit him out, and of course a TY for Leash.
And I like what you talked about earlier, Vedius, with how difficult it is to engage on NRG's comp. I think both comps are a similar way, as Mickey and Caps are now both going in. Mickey's taken very low, but it's first blood over to Contracts. The Jarvan gets paid.
All right, also this is going to mean a quick push here for FBI on the bottom side. Can they catch one in the river?
Hold on now, Seismic Shove nearly finds Yike, but the last second flash gets him away. So G2, they're going to lose their support. They're going to lose the flash on their jungler. FBI shoving up bot lane now, trying to grab a plate and keep this game nice and close.
Super questionable play from Mickey there. He literally hooked into the bush, either expecting someone to be there or with the intent of getting some vision, and then he ends up face-checking two members of NRG who are just very quick to punish him when he doesn't have his flash up. So great play once again from NRG. They get themselves their first kill of the game. The gold's still in favor of G2, but I think a lot of that gold is sitting on the top lane right now. Broken Blade, I think he's secured, what, 3 plates? Nearly 4.
Yeah.
Look at the total gold. He's the one sitting on all this gold right now. So I think that gold difference is a little bit deceptive when, even though one is tanky, that's not ideally where you want all your gold in the early game.
Yeah, fair enough. He will be able to upgrade people's items pretty, well, not pretty soon. Later on into the game. So he'll be able to distribute some of those stats, at least, to the rest of the team later on. Honestly, though, as we do see the play onto bottom side.
I mean, the Rift Herald getting dropped in mid, Caps grabbing a couple of plates from that. That's where you want to see some of that money going. If you're a fan of G2, you want to see Caps be able to get ahead. You want to see this Azir on some playmaking ability, because if this guy can find the angle to really start off one of these fights correctly, both teams have so much powerful disengage that if somebody can really hit one of those huge angles, that's the difference maker. As Yike will again look into the top part of the map. Flash coming out from Dokla. The Orn Horn goes out. It'll hit him at the last possible second. No, it won't. He missed it. Broken Blade will not get the knockup. I don't think they would have had the damage to get the kill anyway, but Dokla gets away with the expenditure of his flash.
Yeah, they do get that summoner spell out from Dokla. A bit of a cheeky play from Yike. Mickey now in a bit of danger. Knockback. Nice side step.
Nice step away from it.
And that play on top side has pretty big ramifications for this dragon about to spawn here. For NRG. Dokla's going to teleport back to top lane right now.
He might dive this. Broken Blade doesn't have ultimate, but he should be tanky enough this early on into the game. You'll see Yike catch the wave. Caps is going to rotate up with them, and now he's in some serious danger. No flash.
Yeah, his stopwatch is not ready here for Dokla.
Oh, they're not going to go for it.
Wow, they're backing away. I thought for sure they would decide to just jump in for this.
Yeah. That could be a bot lane dive then for NRG. Yeah. They took Dragon. They could even go for more.
Nice move from Dokla there, using the equalizer to burn away the waves so he can prevent any sort of threat on himself. As NRG now overloads the opposite side. 4 players down here. Contracts and Palafox both hovering around. Palafox walks back out over the ward to leave. FBI wants to grab this second plate here real fast. Boomerang Blade to at least chunk Hans a little bit. They avoid losing the second plate. Now Mickey with a dredge line. Follow up with a blade collar. Ignar doesn't take a severe amount of damage just yet. Yike has arrived to reinforce, make sure there's not going to be any dive instead, so we don't actually get any turret dives from either team on any part of the map just yet, but Mickey goes fishing. He finds himself a connect. Dredge line on the FBI, who has to try to flash away. The feathers fly, and FBI will not survive. Han Sama takes him down.
That is the EU bot lane that we've been waiting to see in this series. Mickey lands a clutch hook onto FBI. The spell shield is used early as well, which means that it's not there to mitigate the ultimate from Mickey, and Hans with the damage finds a 2v2 kill.
Yeah, no respect there from FBI for the lollipop of that hook from Mickey. Nice one from him. Able to nail it and get that kill back. Let's see if that's the momentum that they actually need here, because NRG with the 2 dragons and Palafox looking for.
Oh, Caps, nice job there using the disengage. Now Dokla's coming down to try to stop him, but he's got to be careful. Caps still trying to get away from this one. Dokla now finally not overheated anymore. Caps getting away. Nice movement there. Doesn't even have to spend the flash to get away from the Jarvan Cataclysm, as NRG tried to make a move, but they won't find it. Now the Ornhorn is summoned up. Contracts with a re-engage back at a Caps. They want to try to stop it, but now Dokla's got to be careful. Ignar and Yike both making their way into the fight as Dokla's only got 300 HP remaining. Mickey with another big dredge line. Ignar and Contracts with a front line. Contracts has caught Cap. Huge re-engage coming out from NRG. As the Poppy disengaged, now might turn it back for G2. FBI has arrived, and now a seismic shove ain't quite going to find another. NRG and G2 are making it scrappy here in the top lane.
That is really good target selection from Contracts over and over. He knows the only damage on G2 is Caps and Hans was not there, so Contracts keeps re-engaging onto the Azir to keep the DPS away, even though it looked like G2 with all these extra bodies up there, those are mostly tanks, and they don't have enough damage to take down NRG on the top side. They did, however, have plenty of damage to take them down here. This is what we're talking about. Really good hook there from Mickey right at the end. The extendo hook to be able to get him. They also got both summoners out of FBI. So not only did G2 here get the kill, Mickey lives even with the Ignite and the minions on him. But they also got those summoners.
Very weird. I mean, Caps ends up securing the crab with his ultimate. Obviously, he's just trying to create space between him and Palafox. He's holding on. I'm not even sure if his WE is up or if he's just holding it. The ultimate from Contracts delays him from being able to get the maximum rage. And then G2 says, we see an angle. Let's throw the ultimate. Dokla doesn't have his flasher. Let's look for a play. But as you rightly said, Contracts constantly, back in the action.
Back in the action as Mickey and Yike got to try to get away. Contracts with the engage on the enemy support. FBI's got the damage, but his Contracts getting the credit. Yike flashes over the wall to make sure that he doesn't die here too. And NRG find their 3rd kill of the game.
Similarly to game 1, NRG are doing a great job of finding picks. It was Palafox and Contracts working together in the first game, but now we're seeing Ignar and Contracts find these picks wherever they can, and it's Mickey who's getting caught.
So, Contracts is again popping the hell off. He was only a couple of years ago the death leader of the LCS. What a magnificent glow up for him. Absolute masterclass, back-to-back games, really big stuff. And here again, he's going to see 2 tanks in the river, so they have the freedom to engage. FBI just pops the Sivir ultimate, and they melt down one, get the flash off the other.
In recent years, Contracts had been in conversations for the weakest jungler in the LCS at different points. He has made a miraculous resurgence to become this absolute crucial cornerstone of NRG in the games where they look their best.
Yep, and now definitely in the conversations for one of the best. Started at the bottom, now we're here.
You ever seen those like reels or TikToks where like it starts with the flashback, like you are here and then you have the dubstep at the end? Where is that now? I can see it with the Contracts montage plays already. What a glow up from him. The gold pretty much dead even. We saw it from the MasterCard check-in that a lot of that gold sitting on Broken Blade and Caps where the leads are coming from right now. But after that action earlier in the top lane, perhaps that has shifted. Contract navigating his way around the vision.
Yep. The big thing I'm looking at right here, that timer in the top right of your screen says 10 seconds until the 3rd Drake is alive. It's going to be a Hex Soul yet again. NRG already has the first 2 Drakes of this game. G2 are not willing to just allow this 3rd one to go away. Being on Soul Point only 18 minutes into the game is a very difficult game state to play. I wonder, how will this fight go? This could determine so much from such an even game.
Rumble ultimate is going to be massive. Caps looking for Dokla.
Dokla playing around the blast cone, trying to be careful. Weaver's wall over the edge. G2 are going to be equalized. Hansama goes up for the Orn Horn is sounded off. A lot of damage. Back onto the middle as Ignore drops, but he's going to be traded for Mickey. Support for support. Palafox goes over the wall.
Nice. Oh, nice.
With the knockup back into Palafox, but now he's not able to find the damage. Hans is firing off, and Caps is still alive.
Oh no!
Caps, they found the enemy mid. Energy for me too, but health is low. Hansama, two ribbons.
GG.
Of FBI.
And Energy are going to pick up the dragon. Palafox with the flank up into the fog of war, onto the high ground, and he seismic shoved the Azir. Caps goes down, and Energy on Dragon Soul point.
Keep your eyes on Palafox here. You already highlighted earlier, he uses the wall initially, then the E from Broken Blade as they try to find escape. Good ultimate from Dokla, forces the ulti out from Hansama very early on, and then the wall, I forget what it's called, but from Palafox, he lays down the ground to split G2 up, which means that their front line is separated from their back line to buy time for Energy to just get rid of the front line.
Look at this.
Mickey drops, Poppy drops, and then they find that pick onto Caps. Great play from Palafox throughout this fight.
That control ward, Palafox knows he is in the fog of war. He kites up around onto the ledge and lands the seismic shove.
Unraveled Earth, Vedius. That is the bunch of rocks on the ground.
For.
Yeah. That's one of the ones that gave me trouble for a long time too, because I'm like, it's just a bunch of rocks. But yeah, Unraveled Earth, nice job. Energy managed to find their fight there. The gold still remains very close, but the big thing is the Drakes. The Drakes are now a problem for G2 moving forward in this game.
Well, they certainly are. G2 are going to be forced into the next fight. Energy could even use it as a potential Baron threat. Contracts finds himself with 100% kill participation. The young stuff in Yike from Europe came in as... Oh, hang on a second. This Herald is not going to get any value at all, is it?
No, sir.
But Yike, yeah, coming in as the replacement for Yankos. Big shoes to fill. And MSI, he had a promising performance, but in this series, his presence has been very limited. Caps finds himself at 0-2, and G2, they're crumbling. You have to wonder how much that loss in Game 1 affected them as NRG find themselves with a gold lead. Their comp feels very powerful right now.
I just want to re-emphasize too how crazy of a situation this is to have Energy again in a big lead over G2 in a series-defining game. This Energy team is built of players that were discarded by other teams, that had to work their way back up through the academy system and have come together with Energy acquiring CLG and in their first split winning the finals as underdogs every step of the way.
But I cannot count G2 out just yet. This is a team that has shown tenacity, that has shown the ability to scrap, even when behind. Broken Blade coming back up. Palafox is just swooped to death as Contracts is ready to bring the same back to G2. Caps falls, and now they gotta try to get Yike out of trouble. He wants to run away, but the Jarvan with the EQ flash, and Ignar ain't done. He's gonna look to see if they might be able to find something else. Nice buffer from Broken Blade as Contracts goes in, but the equalizer comes down over the top. Contracts might just die. Back for Hans, but he'll fall after. Mickey wants to get out, but FBI cuts him off. Energy, get a 4.
No jungler, no problem. They're going to burn down this Baron. Broken Blade is the only one for G2. Vedius, is there a world where that Ornn teleports in and does something insane?
I think he's going to have to try, but they find this pick onto Palafox. But again, the collapse from NRG is always so good and so quick. Look at how quickly they're able to respond. Look at live, though. The Baron is going down.
Oh, Caps is there, too. They're going to force them off for sure.
All right.
They might start this. Poppy is back alive.
Yeah.
Okay, they're not going to. That could have been a window for G2. You'll see on your main screen the chase down that comes through from NRG. And some concerns about FBI's range when he's being given so much space in these fights. There is zero threat on him in these engages, and he's able to clean up every single time. 2-1-6 now for the Civic.
Man, big thing there is G2, again, this is just a 2 DPS comp. It is just 2 carry comp here. And with Caps going 1-for-1 under the tower there for Palafox, Energy going to have a lot more damage dealers left for the chase down.
So, big thing here, we've been talking about contracts, talking about his performance, 100% KP. Spear of Shojin, completed in the inventory now. This transforms Jarvan from a good champion to an insane champion. The amount of combos you can get off in a fight, as long as you're able to get auto attacks, is just oppressive.
Yep. Shout out to Freak. Maybe shout out to Augurin as well for the builds. Augurin with the rank 1 Korea, really popularizing it, but all the extra health that was added to both those items really makes them so tanky. And the cooldown is so nice on Jarvan because the E is not classified as CC, and the E is the actual gatekeeper of your combo. The Q doesn't really matter that it gets less.
Okay, Mickey wanted to try to use the control ward there to see if they could find a pick before this crucial 4th Drake. 10 seconds. This is Hex Soul if NRG gets it. G2 need to play this fight well. They've still got the ward in the Pixel Brush, but it was sighted out. Ignar will knock that down first. As we also see NRG clear out some of the wards from that Drake pit. G2 trying to approach. It'll be Mickey, Yike, and Broken Blade. The secret service for Hans Sama. Protect the president. Do not let him fall.
I mean, it's G2 on the objective right now, but with contracts and Ignar, look at how dark it is. The observer's highlighting how little G2 sees. That Rumble ultimate is luring in the distance. Dokla, he can have so much impact in these fights. Mickey trying to zone NRG away. The Dragon will begin.
Oh, they've got that control ward now on the ledge that they remember from last time. Here we go, G2.
All right. The Drake's already down to half HP. Contract's ready to challenge. Equalizer over the wall as the Ornhorn comes out. Finds a single knockout, but it's going to be spell shielded.
Nice.
Caps going to swoop on the 2. Massive engage coming up from G2 when FBI is killed. Caps is going to be traded back as we now have a 4v4. Contract still going to go back in. It's Palafox stealing away the soul. G2 gets a 2-for-1 victory, but it's soul back over to NRG. G2 trying to path their way up back towards the middle of the map, maybe over to Baron.
That was crazy. Even though NRG are losing the fight, Hans was untouched. They still managed, Contracts and Palafox, to combo the Dragon. Mickey goes out! Mickey! He ends up sending a trench line straight from the food delivery service.
No.
Broken Blade, Yike, and Hans now in a 3v3. Any chance of Baron is dashed as Palafox continues looking. Might be able to find a seismic shove. He flashed forward. Palafox with a crazy play. It won't find it yet, but they'll get Broken Blade at the very end.
The crucial thing here now is Contracts is alive, and they just got a big pick onto Broken Blade. The Baron is now up for grabs with the soul as well. NRG can melt this.
Caps is back alive. The Azir could have an absolutely massive play. The rocket flies by. He sidesteps away from it. Sweeper still active. Soldier in the brush, just looking to do a little scouting. It's up to the Emperor.
They have to give this up. I don't think that they can contest it.
Oh no, he walks right into the brush. Dokla's ready to provide the damage. Ignar may just die for it. Ignar lives, Caps at 400 HP. Dokla finally getting the heat gauge back. Caps burns, and NRG takes Soul and Baron back to back.
It is not a dream anymore. You are looking at reality. NRG are having a massive upset against G2, and it all started with this huge fight.
All right, let's take a look at it. First, they go the Talia wall down, and they try and Cataclysm Yike in there, but Caps comes in big for G2, sweeps them back. You see Hans free firing, and it forces NRG to scatter. It's here that they combo for the soul. Contracts and Palafox, the coordination between those two, still able to get the critical objective for the extra soul. And then Mickey.
Oh, this was such a blunder from Mickey. Nice sidestep from Ignar, but I'm not even sure what they were hoping to get off the back of that. They needed to get the reset off, and NRG chasing was the best thing. They know they have a huge health advantage. They know that Jarvan and Rumble is coming back soon. This was a huge chase, getting this pick. It resulted in a soul, it resulted in a Baron, and it results with NRG having everything they need to 2-0 the first seed of the LEC.
They still gotta close it out. 6,000 gold up. Hex Soul in their pocket. Baron circling around them for the next minute and 45. NRG need to keep this push going. Back to what you guys were talking about earlier. It is a 2-threat comp for G2. It's all about Hans. It's all about Caps. If they're gonna win, they'll have to have a massive turnaround against this NRG squad who has been team fighting beautifully.
They've been doing everything this series. NRG have come to play. Tower number 2 down in mid lane. They're going to rotate over to the top side. We get a recall from Broken Blade, and there go G2.
Mickey over the wall, flash Dredge line, looking to engage on Ignar. But the stopwatch means no dice. Now NRG ready to keep their own push going on. FBI keeping the Baron on the cannon, Minion back in the mid lane. Dokla, Palafox, Contracts all working together here on the top side. Weaver's Wall, a beautiful tool for just making it so you can kill the turret. Mickey's gonna be pushed back. Seismic shove, they won't kill him just yet. Horn sounds off. Dokla's knocked up into the air. Palafox may be under pressure. Now they're gonna find some damage on Contract, but he won't be killed just yet. Cap is down. Dokla unstoppable. And now Mickey falls too. Broken Blade will be broken in half. Yike and Hans are on the run, but they won't get far. Poppy can't live. Hans can't stop him.
The loyal, the unwavering, the faithful shall be rewarded.
It is an ace for one. Nobody thought they'd win LCS. Nobody thought they'd beat G2. It's time to change your minds. NRG win the game, defeat G2, and go to the quarterfinals.
What an upset! Betty, even as it's happening.
The beauty is, like, they didn't need your faith. They didn't need you to believe in them. They thrive in the position of the underdog, and they continue to surprise.
Take a bow, NRG. You deserve it. As for all you